agenda is how we meet, and this is what I'm proposing for Lower Puna Rising meetings here at the place. How I would like to meet, and I don't want that to negate or take away from anyone else's individual expression of what a meeting might look like. I want there to be play and excitement and casualness and meetings outside of the natch, meetings at people's houses, whatever that looks like for everyone. This structure is what I'm proposing here. Okay, so now we move down to the green part, and this is an outline for how we meet. Again, the participatory agenda is something that's online that people receive ahead of time, that they can add to, and that they can do their due diligence of research if necessary. Where to put that? Bandcamp is probably best, in my opinion.
Base camp?
Base camp, sorry. Bandcamp's a different thing. How to put that where it's can be added to, which I'm not familiar enough with it yet. I've only uploaded documents, and you got like 18 minutes to edit it. So somewhere where people can add, we'll have to figure that out. And then how soon before a meeting, people, what's their preference, that kind of thing, just so we can have some structure around that. That's agendas. And maybe there's a better word for it. Agenda's a little bit dry, but. So then we go over the agenda in the meeting. It'll be on the board like it is in the blue, and estimate the amount of time that each topic may take. This is so we can stay on task, and that we can start and end our meetings on time, hopefully, and that we become efficient in that way. It's interesting that I become the voice of structure, because it feels like so ingrained in me, and I'm happy to do that. And I do feel like some of this structure may push some people's boundaries, but it does seem essential for me to be in a meeting, and rest assured it's not going to go 3 or 4 hours. So the time also gives us an option at the end to either extend that. We can vote to just about, hey, who wants to go 5 more minutes kind of thing. We can put it in a parking lot to be talked about at another time, or we can postpone it completely. Or hopefully there's some resolution that comes from that. So that's what the time is there for. Assign the roles. So each meetings that I've been in have roles that people play, and they usually rotate, so there's no fatigue or power dynamic that can come from a facilitator role. So everyone's participating in different ways. Facilitator is usually someone that just keeps the energy moving. So they're going to present the agenda, they're going to introduce different people, they're going to just sort of keep us on task. That's a pretty central role to any meeting. And then there's a time and vibe keeper. That's someone that's just going to have a little cell phone in front of them with a clock and say, okay, your 20 minutes is up. Maybe let us know a few minutes before so we can wrap it up. I do want you to do it in the next one. See, I put times up there. And the vibe keeper is, can be similar. It can be a different person, or it can be the same person. But that person just lets us know when, hey, feeling like we're a little bit off topic right now, or it seems like there's some heat around this. Can I offer a pause or a time to reflect or something like that? And community organizing, there's no shortage of interpersonal dynamics, especially around very strong-willed, ideological people. And we welcome that. And sometimes there's a necessity to pause and to breathe into that. And so the vibe keeper would help us with that. And then there's the note taker. And the note taker would keep track of what's happening. The agenda's online, hopefully, so that's done. So you have an outline. And then just really what needs to be captured is substantial discussion, questions, or agreements that have been made. You don't need to, you're not a stenographer. You don't need to keep track of every word that's been written. This can be a laborious job, especially when you go home and type up the notes and post them and that. So it's nice to rotate that so everyone kind of helps out. So the next part is, say I presented a topic that I want to discuss to the agenda. Chances are I got some energy around that. I'm going to present that, right? So I'm going to say, all right, guys, I got this idea or this happened or whatever, and I'm going to present that. And then after the presentation, there'll be some discussion, hopefully. an opportunity to chime in, what feels good for you, questions, comments, concerns, that kind of thing. And then if it need be, we may have to decide or assign some action items. So that is kind of the flow around how that is going to happen. Now, anyone that's been in community development long enough knows that the deciding part can be a bit tricky. And you know, consensus, consent, sociocracy, holacracy, these kind of paradigms offer us an opportunity to make meaningful decisions together as a group that everyone is excited about and wants to pursue. So it gives everyone a voice so they can be heard. It also can bring about a fair amount of processing and things like that. And so that can shut down progress sometimes or slow down progress sometimes. And so just being mindful of these things. Go ahead.
I had an idea for action items. Like at the last HIVE meeting, it was really nice. It seemed very organic what steps needed to be done based on where the energy was and what was talked about. And you know, at the end, there's just a whole list of action items I wrote down and ended up doing. And I kind of like that where we can just, you know, whoever feels called doesn't have to be the only one person can record. And then after we get through one agenda item, people can share what the action items are. But the delegation of the action items can be done after that, perhaps, so that there's not that, like, you know, who's stuck doing what thing. So
I mean, it's very astute of
allows
you.
for the flow.
There's anyone who's also been in community organizing knows that there's sometimes tasks that people don't want to do, and we kind of pride ourselves so far on being self-directed here. People are showing up for things that they're excited about, and sometimes there's some remedial tasks that people aren't so interested in, and finding ways to assign is tricky, right? Because people generally don't want to do what they don't want to do. You know, a little side story, I lived in a community in Thailand where people would bring up an action item or agenda topic and we'd discuss it, maybe 15, 20 minutes, and they say, okay, we're all in agreement, right? So this is going well so far, we're all in agreement, this needs to be done. Who would like to do it, right? And nobody wants to do it. So they dropped it. And I was like, this is anarchy. Someone needs to tell them what to do, and why do we just talk about it the whole time? So they had a thought in their community, like, if you're not into it, then we're not going to do it. Everything's going to be self-driven, right? And it worked. They were called themselves an unintentional community, sort of renegade bunch. And anyway, it worked. Things would get dropped sometimes, and they'd reappear later. Maybe if it's really like keeping someone up at night or whatever, they might, you know, ultimately like fall to that pressure and do it. But it works. So anyway, let that just be as an example of you know, the possibilities how we can organize. We don't have to fall on old paradigm shoulders here. So action items, follow up, and then so that's how someone says they're going to do something, and if they don't do it, you know, how do we encourage them and support them so they can better do it? How do we want to keep track of to-do lists? And you know, again, Basecamp has been great to see that happening. Lisa put some things on there, and Rosanna too, with some action items and crossing them off, and like that feels really good. So anyway, that's the one way we can follow up, and meetings like this is another way. And then how do we want to communicate this, share these things with others? So you know, this entire process really I consider activism. You know, it is something that we're learning to do together. The hub concept has already started just by us being together, and it's decentralized and has become a fractal at this point, and it's spreading, and that is activism, and that is success, and I would like to capture that, consequently the video, and I would like to share that with people so they can see how we're organizing and offer feedback so we can better grow, so we can open source all of it, so we can become our truly idealized self.